We're now joined by Nancy Rudgers, who is Director of Development for an organization called Nourish.NJ, based in Morristown, New Jersey. Nancy, so good to see you.
Thank you, Steve. It's nice to see you as well.
You know, Nourish.NJ, as we put the website up, people they think they know what it is about because of the name. But first, what is it? And then tell us how you go beyond what one might think it's about.
Sure. It's my pleasure. Actually, that's what I love to talk about. Nourish.NJ, which is Nourish, New Jersey. It's a 501(c)(3) nonprofit organization. We actually started back in 1984 as a soup kitchen, and we've evolved over the last 36 years into a multifaceted provider of wraparound services. We provide healthy food. We provide medical, social, and educational services, work readiness programs, 365 days a year free of charge to anyone who comes in need of service, with the whole premise of what we do is to address the underlying causes of food insecurity, poverty, and homelessness.
You know what, Nancy, it's interesting when you were talking to our producer, Georgette, you made it clear that Nourish.NJ offers, quote, no questions asked help. What exactly does it mean, no questions asked?
So that is what differentiates us from many of the other agencies, is that anyone can come to us for food. If you're at our door and you want food, you can have as much food as you want for free. And our food is very healthy, by the way. We actually go out and buy fresh, lean meats, vegetables, fruits and salads and things like that to prepare healthy meals. And it doesn't matter, like anyone can come. And I know people will decide that could be questionable, but how many people will really come to an organization looking for a handout if they didn't really need it?
Hold on a second, I want to be clear. I'm sorry for interrupting.
That's okay.
Nancy, so you don't receive government funding. Does that allow you to have a, quote, no questions asked policy? So it doesn't matter whether someone's a citizen, a registered citizen, it doesn't matter. If you need help, you get help.
That is the bottom line. If you need help, we're there to help you. Exactly. And that is the reason why we choose not to accept government funding at this time, because we would have to fill out questionnaires. We'd have to ask people too many questions, and that would prohibit them from even coming and getting the help that they need desperately for them and their children and their family members.
Well said. By the way, Nourish.NJ receives no government funding. The Caucus Educational Corporation, our organization, our not-for-profit, we receive no government funding. I just want to clarify that. That being said, much more importantly, the pandemic has exacerbated issues, a whole range of issues, particularly for people who are struggling, and more people are struggling than ever before. How has that affected the issue of food insecurity?
Well, it's gone up over 30% initially back in 2020, and it continues to rise for us. We're seeing many new families that we have never seen before, people that have lost their jobs, obviously, for various reasons, or many of our working poor families have multiple jobs and their hours were cut. So right then and there, our numbers are going way up because they can't make ends meet. There was a rent moratorium in place that obviously helped the working poor families, which has now been removed. And that is now a new issue that's facing a lot of people that we are addressing, helping them try to prevent evictions. Obviously, it's a lot easier for us to keep people housed than to find them new housing. So we're doing what we can financially to help them stay housed, or put them in connection with other services financially that can help them without losing their homes.
Let me ask you this. It's one thing to talk about no government funding. It's another thing to talk about leading a nonprofit or being a director of development for a nonprofit, and that's being a leader in the not-for-profit community. You have to raise money on a regular basis from the corporate and foundation community. How responsive are folks today versus, say, 2 or 3 years ago in the corporate and foundation community?
We do corporate.
Well, they have their own struggles.
They do have their own struggles, but I give them a lot of credit in 2020 because they all stepped up in 2020. During the initial part of the pandemic, they were very generous to our organization. So that helped us tremendously. 2021 wasn't too bad. The problem we faced, of course, was that our fundraising efforts in terms of external activities had to be canceled for obvious reasons. So while we were receiving enough money from our corporate funders, we were still behind the eight ball, if you will, because of other events that usually brought us in money that we didn't normally get. But we do rely on the individual community, and they also stepped up. I will say that when push comes to shove, our community is there to help. And we're very grateful for that, because it is because of them that we can do what we do.
Well, we're very grateful for the work that Nourish.NJ is doing. And part of our job as a not-for-profit independent production company affiliated with our friends in public broadcasting is to feature not-for-profit organizations making a difference. And yours is. Thank you, Nancy.
I appreciate this opportunity because it's all about educating everyone and making sure they're aware of what's out there.
Well said. Stay with us, folks. We'll be right back.
State of Affairs with Steve Adubato is a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation. Funding has been provided by New Jersey Sharing Network, the Turrell Fund, supporting Reimagine Childcare, Investors Bank, Englewood Health, the New Jersey Education Association, Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey, Seton Hall University, the Healthcare Foundation of New Jersey, NJM Insurance Group, and by these public-spirited organizations, individuals, and associations committed to informing New Jersey citizens about the important issues facing the Garden State. And by Employers Association of New Jersey. Promotional support provided by NorthJersey.com and Local IQ, part of the USA Today network. And by Insider.NJ.
New Jersey's early educators and childcare providers are more than twice as likely to live below the poverty line versus the general workforce. Reimagine Childcare, formed by a coalition in New Jersey, is dedicated to improving accessibility, affordability, and quality of childcare and reimagining the way we support these essential providers. Learn more by visiting reimaginechildcare.org.